Serious, strippers of Reddit, what do you really think of the people that see you perform?
Before we begin, do us a favor by clicking that like button, and subscribe to our channel for more top Reddit stories every day.
Ex-stripper, the guys that came in and knew the deal were great. Tip the girl on stage, get a lap dance, be polite. The worst were the guys that thought they were smarter than the strippers or that they could somehow game us. Like, one guy I remember went on a whole rant about how smart he was because he could tell it was all fake and the girls weren't really attracted to the men. Yeah dude, you're a genius. Or when they think they're funny by degrading the women. It's not funny and you're the one that looks bad. Honestly, for the most part I didn't think about the guys much at all. I was on autopilot most of the time and didn't judge them any more than thinking who looks interested in a private dance or who is a douchebag I wanted to avoid. Generally depends on what kind of customer that person is really. The best kind is the dude who understands that it is all a game. They tip well, they are sociable and polite, may even be regulars with certain girls and are never a problem. The entire club staff loves guys like this. The ones that the dancers hate? The I don't pay for dances guy who thinks that line will somehow make him desirable for dancers? Captain Save-A-Ho. His trademark line goes something like you are too beautiful / smart / amazing to be doing this. If you get with me you can leave this behind. The pimps that go around asking the girls if they want to make some real money are real pieces of shit as well. Then there was the ones that I really had a personal dislike for, the dudes who would try and wait in the parking lot at the end of the night because Cinnamon and I really had a connection, you know? She told me to wait for her. No she didn't buddy. If Cinnamon told you that, she did so knowing that I would be kicking everybody out of the parking lot before the dancers left for the evening. The strip club industry is a weird place. Source, longtime strip club bouncer. Ex-stripper here. Of course I encountered all different types, but I am here to mention one type in particular, my favorite. There were a lot of customers who were lonely, or didn't have anyone to talk to who would really listen to them. They figured out that they could come in and pay for company. I would sit at the table with one of my regulars for a few hours and just talk. I made a point of showing that I valued them as a person and was genuinely interested in their conversation. He knew that he was taking up my time, and every so often would hand me another bill. I didn't pity them. I respected them for figuring out a way to engage with other humans and satisfy their need for connection. This needs more attention. It's wholesome. Sometimes that's all someone wants / needs. I am a barber and some of the longer services my club offers I don't do, but some guys book them just so we can sit and talk. People just really want to be listened to now and then. You get your share of creeps, but mostly where I worked, a long time ago, a lot of young groups of guys just looking for a good time. Every once in a while you have someone who has too good of a time and gets rowdy and acts like an idiot. Granted I only work 2 to 3 nights a week. People who dance full time, especially during the day, have a whole different kind of crowd to deal with, but customers are generally all the same, just looking for something to distract them from life for a while. Feels like a lifetime ago that I danced. My husband and I go together now every once in a while to get a private dance for a while, and it's way more fun being on the other side. I love the young guys who just wanted to have a fun night out and were also respectful. Was lucky enough to come across a few groups like this during my stripper years. Ex-stripper here. Most of them were cool. We had one old guy named Cummer Steve that would get dances from the new girls and whip his dick out and jizz in their hair. He always had $300 in his wallet that he would head over before they made him leave. Occasionally a douchebag would come in, but they got handled pretty quickly. I once had a guy hold up a $5 bill and ask what he could get for that. I cheerfully snatched it out of his hand and told him that he could watch my ass as I walked away. Strippers for bucks parties or strippers in clubs? Strippers at bucks parties don't usually hang around long enough, 20 to 30 minutes max, so interaction with guys is limited to just during the show. You mainly hear guys in clubs more so want to chat because they are either lonely, like the attention briefly, or become regulars and make friends with the girls. What strippers really think is about the money. At every job you go to there is always the same personalities, they just look different. You have the arrogant guy, the nice guy, the shy guy, the funny insecure guy, the drug addict, the alcoholic, the drunk touchy guy, the guy who thinks is super good looking and you should want him, the narcissist. It's more so about the different roles the stripper can take on when working for all of the above guys. Counselor, best friend, cleaning lady for when he spills his drink, the comedian to make them laugh, security guard for other girls, the dominatrix because they want to be playfully hurt in some way. The list goes on. The more you spend stripping you more learn about social psychology. I hope I'm not stealing the question since I was just a server at a boobs and wings place, which a lot of people, myself included, sort of consider junior level stripping. Same as most of the other answers here in that most everyone was cool, a few jerks here and there. But what struck me was how many older, lonely, divorced, widowed or single guys desperately needed to be around female energy. They were all so sweet, polite, courteous and more often than not generous. If they could afford it, some couldn't and that was fine too. I always got the impression they came to our place because it was there. We could have been selling ice cream wearing 50s housewife attire and they still would have showed up. It wasn't about the skimpy clothing at all to these guys, just the chance to be around women who knew their name, their job, their story, etc. It always made me very happy we were there, but sad that society seemed so disconnected that we were maybe the only place they felt comfortable going where they wouldn't be judged for what was simply a human need to be around other people of the opposite sex in a non-sexual way. Negation X male stripper here. Edit. I misunderstood the question and erased what I originally wrote. Excuse me, the customers? It depends. In general, I saw a lot of lonely people. I never felt too bad for them because dancing is a humbling experience. I mean, after all I'm the one dancing for money. I don't think I ever looked down on them either. Also saw a lot of creepy people. When I first started dancing, other dancers would help me out in situations with the creepier customers. I had an older gentleman who you could say stalked me for a bit. My first interaction with him was holding his hand while I danced and he put money in my G-string. A coworker of mine grabbed my hand and pulled me away. They would also walk me out to my ride because he used to wait outside and proposition me for further activities. I always declined. Creepy people come in all forms. I think the worst ones are the good-looking customers that know they are good-looking and they have a lot of money so they think they can get away with anything. I've lost some considerable size tips from telling people like that to fuck off. Edit 2. I'd also have to mention I did the whole thing about an hour away from where I grew up. I always had this funny thought in the back of my head, like what if my friends and classmates saw me now? Was a fun industry. Glad I'm out. I've dated like 4 strippers, some for a few years. I think their opinions were mostly that the dudes were chill. There were the he tried to shove his finger in my pussy so I broke it nights, the he got a champagne room for 3 hours with 3 girls and fell asleep so we got drunk type nights. Indian dudes seemed to do the weirdest shit. A couple dudes just got naked in the lap dance booth or champagne room and got kicked out. One my girlfriend said she left for less than a minute to check in with the bouncer and returned and the dude was naked and had nicely folded his clothes next to him. Weirdly sweet but horrifying. They threw him out naked. The thing I noticed though is that after a few years most of them really started to low-key hate men. It's just generally they get exposed to men continually at their worst or most horny. I think it ended up being toxic. I dated a stripper for a while. No, we didn't meet at the club. We were 18 and she looked super young. She liked some of her regulars, but she would often get married guys in there and she absolutely hated them. Not that she wouldn't take their money, because she wanted to just have fun and not worry about ruining people's marriages. She also disliked the people that were old enough to be her dad because there were a lot of old creepy people who would proceed to show her pictures of their kids who were around her same age. In general though, as long as people tipped well and didn't make things awkward, she seemed to really enjoy most of her clients. Also, never ask your stripper out. She probably doesn't like you. And also don't propose to them because that makes it super awkward. They're just people. No one proposes to cute girls out of the blue. There's no way to handle that situation that ends well. Former stripper. I absolutely loved working with guys who were nice and respected my time and boundaries. They truly make the job fun and I would show my appreciation by making the dance a little wilder. If a guy would try and talk to me forever and not get a dance, I was offended. I always said my conversation was priceless and they should be paying me double just to talk, or try and get me to see him outside without spending money. If a guy spent a lot on me, I wouldn't mind meeting him for a drink after work to spend some time talking, or try and grab at me. I would truly look down on him. I had guys who were straight up abusive a few times and that's not fun. I had guys that were into haggling as a sexual kink and that was shitty. I hated it when they'd try and get a 2 for a discount. Like, dude, I'm a hot chick taking my clothes off between your legs. Please don't insult me by saying $20 is too much for the privilege. My favorite customers were the ones that wanted to have actual fun. One guy ordered us a pizza and taught me karate moves. One guy just wanted to smoke weed and play Mario 3 on a Game Boy. One guy would pay me to tell jokes on stage. I had a guy in a wheelchair just wanted to have some wild chicks show him a good time. They stand out to me all this time later because they made the job fun and joyful. Mostly it was depressing creeps, but there were some real sweethearts in there and I still think of them with affection. As a male, I asked a stripper this same question. She said it's just a job. It's their fantasy and they pay for it. Some of these guys are lonely. Some have wives/girlfriends at home who don't give them the attention we give them in a 5-minute lap dance in 5 months. Then you have all the others in between. A girl, went to a strip bar one time with a friend's bachelor party. The only ladies' bathroom was back with the girls. I went back there and it was hilarious. They were shit-talking all of the customers, and just let me join right in. They were a blast. I had so much fun the rest of the night.
Thank you for watching this fantastic story. Please tap one of the 4 videos on the screen for another amazing top Reddit stories.